Awesome. Warwick, congratulations. Willow is back, and I'm so excited because this film is such a big part of my childhood, and lots of people that are on go to our website's childhood as well from the 80s. That obviously you've been asked many times over the years to do it. So when you talked to John and you talked to Ron and you all worked on bits on Solo together, this kind of come to fruition. How excited were you when that finally kind of crystallised? Because you've been asked so many times over the years about Willow returning.
Yeah, it was a weird conversation to have because for many years it had been the fans really driving this conversation, saying, we want more Willow, are you going to do more? And I said, I don't know. I don't think the right ears are listening to you guys. So I did mention it to George and Ron. Said, there's a huge kind of demand for more Willow. And eventually all the kind of stars aligned on Solo, which John Kasdan was a writer on, and I was also on. Happened to have long hair, which reminded him of Willow. And then when Ron Howard came on as director, it was perfect, because then him and John had discussions about Willow and how much of a fan John was. And they were able to start to develop ideas and push things forward. And having Kathy Kennedy there as well, who was a huge driving force in taking this to Disney and pushing the project through. And it was just, everything just worked out right. It was perfect. I remember one in particular day, George came to visit the set of Solo, and they called me over, said, Warwick, George is here, wants to say hello. So I went in and I had the long hair as Weasel, and they all started just getting really excited about kind of, George was like, we do it as a series, then you've got more long form to tell the story, which is true. I think this is a really great format for Willow. We have a nice kind of 8 hours to tell this story and really kind of develop these characters. So it was just kind of everything worked out right, which is how it works in the business.
Do you remember many of your spells from the first one? Disappearing Pig Trick was always my favourite.
Yeah, we don't see that again, but we do talk about it, and Willow's sort of his kind of success as a sorcerer, and how in a way he's a little bit of a fraud in a way, which is interesting. That's something John brought into the story, but you'll see as you start watching the episodes how that develops. But yes, I was, when we were making the series, kind of seen as like a magical advisor. I'd done some of these spells before, and John would often say, what kind of spell would work here? I said, well, there's a cool one. A Vagdu's a cool one that Bavmorda used, and it's kind of an angry sort of sounding spell. And so we did bring some spells back from the original. They don't do the same thing, but they're words that we used before. Mm.
And we've seen, obviously, this in the last few years, we've seen a lot of like a renaissance of a lot of things. Obviously, this year, Top Gun, very similar to you from the 80s, coming back and being really embraced by audiences young and old. Does that make you more excited for something like Willow, given that young audiences and old audiences are going to embrace it and be able to watch it on Disney Plus?
Oh, it really does. I mean, I'm so excited that there will be a new generation of people seeing this series now. Although, there had been fans from the original film showing Willow to their kids, as one of their favourite films. So there was this generational kind of effect. But now hopefully it's their kids' kids now will be watching the series and enjoying that. So that's exciting, And, it's a very modern series, even though we're kind of talking about some, material from the 80s original. It's been brought bang up to date by John, particularly in his writing, and the way it's put together as well. It's really kind of trendy and cool as well.
Yeah, it's kind of how Willow, in a strange way, was, because VHS back in the day was such a big thing that's how audiences watched it, and now this is some strange symmetry in that people are going to get to watch it from home. When did you first get a sense that it was a big sensation back in the 80s? Because it did well at the box office, but it was the home media that kind of...
Yeah, I mean, it did all right at the box office. It came out alongside Rocky 3, I think, or Rambo 3, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which everyone was watching because it was like, wow, look at the animation mixed with live action. So it was the thing to see at the time. So box office-wise, it wasn't massive. But yeah, as you say, on VHS, it became one of those rental successes. And people who bought the tape wore it out. So when DVD came out, they were relieved, because then the kids could watch it as many times as they wanted without knackering it.
And just finally, what's been your favourite thing about returning to Willow? Is there a specific thing that you've enjoyed about him?
Well, for me, coming back to the character that I originally played when I was 17, now I've got lots more life experience. I've been through it. I'm older, wiser, maybe, hopefully a more experienced actor. So coming back to a character and bringing all those things with it, I think really helps. Instead of kind of fighting the age thing, I sort of just went with that and leaned into it and brought all those things to Willow. So the new version of Willow that you see, the older man now is more experienced, he's wiser. He still worries a lot, which I did in the movie. Still get stressed out, but again, just shoulders this responsibility because he has to. You know, he doesn't choose to do what he does in the series, but it's kind of thrust upon him again. This great responsibility.
Yeah. We're so excited for this.
Thank you so much.
You look excited as well. Thank you so much for your time. Pleasure.
Nice
Thank you.
to meet you, Scott. Thank you.
You as well. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You Guys!